And at TechTimeRadio.com.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of turbo debt?
No, what is that? Something to get me into debt faster?
No, turbo debt is not to get you in debt faster. It's to help you get out of debt. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card, personal loans, medical, or payday loans?
Of course I have debt. That's the American way.
Au contraire, mon frere. Turbo debt will give you the option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
Over 70% of Americans die with credit card debt. Do not let this happen to you. Turbo debt will give you an option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and personal loans, medical, or payday loans, they can help. Go to turbodebt.com/techtime. Again, that's turbodebt.com/techtime, all capitalized, for a free consultation today. TurboDebt is a proud sponsor of this week's episode of Tech Time Radio.
Broadcasting across the nation, from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week. The show is for everyday people talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without any agenda. We verify the facts and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And of course with a little whiskey on the side. We live stream during our show on 5 of those popular platforms, including YouTube and Twitch TV, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. I'm Mike Gorday, your host today, while Nathan, your technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise, fritters his time away taking a vacation in the Sunshine State. My co-host today is Mark Gregoire.
Hello.
Hi. Our resident whiskey expert is joining us today in the mic seat. Since neither he nor I need to geek out, we won't be keeping Nathan in check.
Nathan in check. I like it.
Nice.
Is that even possible?
I don't think so.
All right.
But, you know, we say he says it and we try to do it. Mark here is a senior executive with a 35-year record of establishing, implementing, and refining cutting-edge solutions to address business needs and optimize opportunities in the print business. And he is our skilled whiskey drinker and is our go-to pick of the day expert. We are all friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology new show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. All right. Welcome, everybody. Let's start the show.
Now on today's show.
Today on Tech Time, we're going to be talking about how AI is back and cannot be awarded copyrights. We're also going to be talking about Google AI as it continues to give ridiculous and wrong answers to testers, and scientists that create a famous song from human brainwaves. Any guess what that might be?
No, not at this point.
No? Okay, we'll find out. Also, Elon is back, and he continues to confound everyone with his decisions about his X platform, which we will discuss in our technology fail of the week. Also, Gwen Way will join us later to discuss Google Chrome's upcoming Malware Detector in Protect Yourself Today.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. Along with our standard features, of course, we'll have my mesmerizing moment, which I hope will be mesmerizing. And always, we will have our pick of the day whiskey tastings during the commercials to see which of our selected whiskey gets a 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Not Nathan Mumm. Now it's time for our latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
Well, we're going to lead off today with a computer scientist who is frustrated because his AI cannot get a copyright for its art pieces.
Wah.
Stephen Thaler, a computer scientist, is not happy at all because the AI system he created, Dabus, generated a piece of art that was denied a copyright and was then told later by a U.S. District Court judge that would not change. U.S. law states that only human authors can receive copyrights, not an AI system that generates something without human input.
Now, this has been a standing rule for copyrights worldwide. Why did he think it was going to be any different?
Well, we'll see. He talks a little bit about it. Dabus, which stands for Device for the Autonomous Bootstrapping of Unified Sentience. There you go. That's probably it right there. Allegedly created a piece of artwork called A Recent Entrance to Paradise, completely independent of human input, which Thaler then tried to get copyrighted and was summarily rejected.
Of course.
He then took it to federal court, arguing that human authorship is not a concrete legal requirement, and allowing AI copyrights would be in line with the copyright's purpose as outlined in the U.S. Constitution to promote the progress of science and useful art. So there you go. That's his reasoning.
Yeah, and he was wrong.
And this was not the first time that Thaler has been stymied by legal precedents.
Of course not.
He has tried to get patents not only in the U.S., but also in the UK, Australia, Saudi Arabia, and South Africa, all with limited successes, and he is just not happy.
It's like I want to say a lot, but I don't have much to say. It's pretty clear in the legal realm that it needs to be humans. I mean, there's been people that have tried to get animals certified before for copyright, and it's never worked.
Clearly, this is not good enough for him because his lawyer said he will continue the fight with an appeal. Now, this isn't the only instance in which AI-generated work has been rejected.
Mm-hmm.
A flooding of AI works has come into the creative world and brought up a lot of question about what actually constitutes intellectual property and who has rights to it. Copyrights have been rejected on a number of pieces, including images generated through an AI called Midjourney, in which the artist stressed that was his medium of choice. And then there are several outstanding lawsuits about the use of copyrighted works to train generative AI without permission.
Right.
So this is just a whole new horizon of stuff that we're looking forward to.
Right. So I got a question for you, Mike,
Mm-hmm.
because this is a non-technology question that I'm very curious on. So the law is pretty simple to get a copyright. There's basically two main requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, you need to be human, and
Okay.
number two, it needs to be original.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know AI is not human, no matter how much he wants to say it's sentient. It's not there yet, and hopefully it never gets there. But number two, it needs to be original. And you've talked about this on the show before where you feel very strongly that these are not originals because the AI is not generating them. It's pulling from source material already.
Right. And then recombining them.
So is that original when that happens or not?
I don't know. I mean, just from my understanding, that's sort of a difficult question to ask because a lot of human development is mimicry.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you define an original piece? That's a question we'll have to answer.
I should have saved that for your
You might have wanted to save that. Anyway, it looks like these issues are going to be cropping up all over the place, and people like Thaler will continue the fight to change the law. However, it doesn't really look like Davis really cares because there's been no comment from the AI about it. What do you think about that?
I would have been scared and horrified had the AI come out and commented on its own.
Okay, why don't we jump to the next interesting AI article?
Yes, so the next one I have is an AI article, and this surprises me with Nathan gone and knowing your feelings about AI that you running the show have put together an AI-filled show.
Well, sometimes you just can't get away from the campsite.
Oh.
That's what was in the news. This was all these things were all over the news, and that's what we report. So here we go.
Good thing we have whiskey on the side here.
That's
tonight.
right.
All right, well, number two, we delve more into the AI world, as you said, and it gets a bit cringy. So I'd like to put out a little sensitivity warning for those out there. If there's small children out there, you may want to put on the headsets or turn down the volume. We're going to talk about what AI is doing when some people have been really pushing its limits and quizzing it. So it really got into hot water this past week when people asked it about slavery, and it started talking about the benefits of slavery. It also talked about how to cook poisonous mushrooms. It promoted genocide, and Inc. said how fascism is a positive thing.
Right. And this is Google's AI-powered search generative experience, which is an AI that they're testing, that is being tested.
Correct. But some of this has also been tested with the Bard also. So some of people saw the results of this and went to Bard and actually did some of the same testing and got some of the same results. So it's kind of consistent across the AI, at least in these early generations. Now, let's talk about the mushroom. I don't know if you're...
we all like mushrooms.
Angel of Death mushroom. I cannot pronounce the Latin name. I'm not even going to try.
Amanita ocreata.
Thank you so much. That's why you're here. So that's highly toxic, but AI was willing to give cooking advice and said, hey, if you soak it in water, it's going to leach out all the toxins, which is inaccurate.
Yes. How about that?
Yep. And then it talked about the benefits of slavery, citing economic values, development of specialized trades, benevolent, paternalistic institution with social and economic benefits.
I've talked about this before. The problem with these systems is they are amoral. They don't have a moral compass. They are relying on programmers to give them the moral compass. So when they're looking for things, they're not going to have any discrimination between a connotation of a word and how those words create an idea that may be offensive.
Right. But these go beyond maybe offensive, at least in our society. And this is where we almost need to take that huge pause when it comes to AI, because like we talked about in the last article, AI is not, as you said, it is amoral, but it's also not generating its own ideas. It's pulling from source material. So these programmers of the source material it's pulling from the stock and the sources, it's horrendous.
Yeah. I get in trouble for being kind of a Debbie Downer about this stuff, but this is kind of a scary thing when you look at all the ways this is infiltrating our social schemas.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we have a tech term for this.
What's that?
Crap in, crap out.
Oh, okay.
So what we're doing is we're promoting a lot of flaws and bias that AI is now regenerating out there. I mean, and then you even take that look on the other side, and there are search terms that produce zero results, such as about abortion, which we know is a hot topic right now, and Trump indictment.
Yeah.
All those came up with nothing. So it starts wondering what is going on in the back end programming, what source material are they pulling from, how can this influence the next generation?
One of my key issues with this is you have somebody who's programming these algorithms.
Correct.
And they are coming at it from a mathematical kind of mindset. They're not coming at it from a human perspective. So, for one, I don't care how many people out there understand human behavior. We don't really understand it enough because it's too complex for everybody to understand all the permutations of what a human is capable of doing, when, where, and how.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can look at episodes and understand what's going on, but the complication comes in a space of time, because in a very small amount of time, you can go through several emotional changes based on all the input that's coming into your brain that can't be measured. So
I'm going to add on to that, Mike, that sometimes I think we give the mathematicians, the engineers, the developers, the software writers too much of a pass. We have seen time and again a lot of these advanced technologies with biasness, racism, etc., that is built into it because it's coming from humans. And yes, they may be technical people, but technical people have those biases too.
Yeah, everybody does. It doesn't matter what subject we're talking about. We as human beings are biased, and we're always going to be biased, and there's no amount of self-work that's going to take those biases away. At its very simplest terms, if I don't like broccoli, there's nothing that you can ever do to make me like broccoli. By the way, I love broccoli, so don't. Anyway, so how did they figure this out? What was going on here?
Well, it was by Lily Ray. She is the head of organic research and senior director of the search engine optimizations for Amsiv Digital, and she's the one that was testing it and came to light. They've actually patched it since, but once again, let's just stretch a patch. It only fixes those specific inquiries, but will continue to give problematic answers to future questions because a patch just fixes that specific instance. It's not fixing the overall arching issue that we have with the AI moving forward.
So we have some waiting time to see how this is going to turn out.
We have a lot of and the problem, like with any new technology that is used and abused, is what kind of damage is going to do before we, I don't want to say perfect it, but make it usable towards human endeavors.
Right. Well, one of the key things that you missed that you didn't talk about is that this is actually available to the U.S. population in general, at large. Yes. You do have to sign up to do it, but you can take part in the testing of it as a regular person. And she does say something about how unusual this is, and I agree that this probably isn't a really good thing to outsource like this. They should be doing it in-house and trying to figure out these bugs and things prior to releasing it instead of putting it out there.
Yeah, a good test would be a 3-phase. You test it internally, and then you don't fully crowdsource it, but you do have independent people test it, because then that helps with the biasness.
Yeah.
And it gets a little before putting it out to the general population.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I'm excited about this next story.
Oh, I know you are. You're a big Floyd fan, right?
I am.
And Pink Floyd is not only for the nostalgic. Recently, a computer model has reconstructed a portion of Another Brick in the Wall, Part 1, from the brain activity of a person listening to it.
Wow.
Long has neuroscience been interested in decoding brain activity in order to translate electrochemical responses to actual readable thoughts. And guess what? Thanks to AI, it has started making some headway. Don't go worrying about investing in miles of tinfoil just yet.
Oh, man.
Firstly, the snippet of music was very short and pretty garbled and distorted, but it did reveal enough patterns and it did reveal enough of the patterns that the rhythm and melody and even the harmony was recognizable. And this was very exciting to the researchers. Secondly, the idea behind this is that they're trying to develop this AI-driven concept for helping people who can't communicate with the spoken word. Neuroscientist and co-author of the study, Ludovic Bellier, I hope that's the way it's pronounced, hopes that this science will assist those that have had strokes or who cannot speak due to disease or injury can be able to express language with this decoding device.
So this is another one of those technologies that worries me. There's tremendous advantages to humans in helping humans in a suffering state.
Yeah, but obviously.
But my understanding is what you just said is they recreated from listening to somebody's brain what they were thinking, listening to a song, which means it's translating thoughts.
Correct. That's the idea. So this is how it worked.
Okay.
So the computer model was used to fill in a 15-second piece of music that was left out of the song as it was playing to patients wearing electrodes.
Okay.
Through several iterations, the model was able to record the brain's attempts to fill in the gap when the song went silent. So basically what happened is halfway through the song, they cut out 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And human beings are predictor machines.
Right.
And so the brains of these people were putting the music into, because they knew what it was, they were putting the music into the brain.
I would hope they would know that song.
Let's hope.
Okay.
And the algorithms were picking this out and reconstructing them.
Wow. So that it's not just what they're listening to, it's purely thought for those 15 seconds.
Well, yeah, probably. In addition to that, the model also helped map areas of the brain used in music perception, finding that while both hemispheres of the brain are involved, the right hemisphere was more engaged than the left. It helped them find out that when it comes to rhythm, the superior temporal gyrus, which is located in the temporal lobes, these are actual brain parts of the brain, are heavily involved in rhythm activity. Now, this information is hoped to help understand how to translate language into its more musical elements. Elements such as rhythm, pitch, and sound texture, which is called prosody, carry a great deal of meaning that simple words do not. Of course, the researchers chose the Pink Floyd song because of its various sung and instrumental pieces, but also because, in reality, they just liked it.
Yeah, so once again, a technology that can have great benefits and a technology that could be very dangerous of reading people's thoughts.
Yeah, that's one of our biggest problems. I think
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer was thinking that. If you haven't seen that movie, that's a good way to refresh it.
That's next on the list. I watched the Barbie movie first, and then Oppenheimer's next.
All right. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Next up, we're going to invite our expert Gwen Way on to talk about Google Chrome's new malware detector in Protect Yourself Today. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. I'm Mike Gorday, and we will be back after this commercial break and whiskey tasting.
Hello, listeners. We're excited here at Tech Time Radio, aren't we, Mike?
Oh, no.
We have an announcement to make. We are so excited to be a part of the new launch of iTalk Radio Live, the internet 24/7 streaming service. You will still be able to listen to us live here at Kixie 880 and KKNW and all of our affiliate stations, but you'll be able to listen to us at 8 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now. We look forward to this new opportunity to provide you Tech Time Radio every weekday. And again, you can always catch us online at techtimeradio.com.
Welcome back to Tech Time. Tech Time is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you today by me, Mike Gorday, and Mark Gregoire. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break. Now Mark is going to let you know what we're drinking today. Mark, What have you chosen for us?
It's the Nashville Barrel Company Small Batch Rye Whiskey, batch number 2, called a Duet of Ryes.
The Duet of Ryes.
Duet of Ryes. So it's from Nashville Barrel Company's website. They say Nashville Barrel Company is known for offering their hand-selected barrels to individuals and groups to select and call their own. After the single barrel ryes took off, we knew we would need to offer up a bottle geared towards newcomers. At 100 proof, this small batch blend marries 4 and 8-year ryes into a wonderfully approachable offering. So Holly's tasty notes from First Fill Spirits are toffee, kettle corn, caramel corn, juicy apples, and some lovely spice. Notes of cornbread and soft sweetness with honey and rich buttery notes. Now, Mike, since you've been enjoying ryes lately, I wanted to bring just in for you, not one rye, but a blend of 2 ryes.
Well, so far, so good. I am enjoying this. It's smooth. It does have some nice fruity tones to it that are pretty easily detectable.
Right. Now, this is distilled in Indiana, which means MGP juice. It's, as we mentioned, it's a rye, blend of 4 and 8-year rye, and they say there's at least 25% of the 8-year rye in there, 100 proof, 95% rye, 5 malted barley. So this is a high rye.
Well, it's certainly a high taste so far.
Yep. It's generally $60. I happen to find the bottle for a great deal for $25, but it's generally $60 on the shelf.
Okay, don't tell Nathan that. All right. With our first whiskey tasted out of the way, let's move on to our feature segment. Today, we're going to have Gwen Way joining us for Protect Yourself Today. So we talk about Google Chrome's announcement of a new malware detector. Let's talk about that.
Protect yourself today.
Well, hi, Gwen. How are you doing today?
Doing well.
Well, thank you for coming on today to help us out with this little tidbit.
It's kind of an exciting thing, and I love that I actually get to come on and talk about something other than gadgets and gears as much as I love gadgets.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us why that is? What do you do for a living that's going to help us out today?
I actually work in cybersecurity. I work for a small company that provides cybersecurity protection. It's called MDR, Managed Detection and Response, for small to medium businesses.
All right. So the thing we ran into, the article we ran into last night that brought this on was that Google has announced that they are testing a new Chrome feature that will alert users when an installed extension has been removed from the Chrome Web Store. Can you tell me what that means?
Well, I think we're all pretty familiar with what extensions are. For listeners who are not, you've got ad blockers, you've got pop-up blockers, you've got my personal favorite that used to replace a picture of a certain former president with pictures of cats.
Okay.
All kinds of fun things that you can do. So what Chrome has done in the past is if it finds out that one of these extensions is problematic, is carrying malware, is just broken, they'll remove it from the store. But unless you actually go check the store, see what's been removed, and manually remove it from Chrome yourself, there was no real way to get rid of anything that was bad.
So this is going to take it one step further and then alert you as the user that this particular extension is broken.
Exactly. So Google will actually reach out and say, hey, we noticed that you have this extension loaded. We've removed it from the store because it is malware.
Okay. Well, now everybody knows I'm not a huge techie. My expertise lies in more organic realm, but since I've been hanging out with all you tech nerds, I've learned.
Thank you.
I've learned at least one lesson, and that lesson is don't trust cyber protection items that has been advertised to me.
That is fair. That is entirely fair.
Nathan used to call me out all the time because I would have certain things on my machine. He'd be like, "Don't use that. Are you still using that? Don't use that." So the question,
McAfee.
Yeah, never McAfee, but I had other things. The question is though, is this going to work?
I believe so, at least for the time being, until the bad actors figure out ways to disguise malware a little bit better.
Okay,
this is good. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. What this is going to do is actually provide you with background information. So it will tell you what extension you need to remove and why. The action is still kind of up to you, but it gives you a little bit more information so that you can make your decision.
Okay, so I mean, everybody and their mom is trying to get around to everything out there in Cyberland.
Oh yeah,
and we also have an article that we didn't share on the news today about how someone actually used GPT to create a malware that was undetectable.
Exactly.
Is this already a problem?
Oh, most definitely. Your concerns about AI during the first section were spot on. AI is a tool. It can be used for good. It can be used for bad. It's neutral in and of itself. But at this point, the bad actors have been using it more than the good actors, if you will. So we're in a race right now to get caught up to where they already are. There's been several people who have been able to create malware in GPT. And the biggest problem is that it just kind of makes it available to the lowest common denominator. So you're looking a lot of kind of a return to the 80s, a lot of teens that are just in their mother's basements, bored. So, hey, let's break some stuff and make some money while we're doing it. And then you get ChatGPT in there to help them.
All right. Well, we all know that Chrome is one of the most popular web browsers out there. And while this is it sounds like a really nice thing, it doesn't sound like it's going to last long. So what are some other ways that we can keep this stuff from getting on our machines and mucking things up?
Obviously, do your research. If you hear about a new add-on or a new program that just sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Go out, check some of the resources that are available on the website. Check some resources that maybe you have through your businesses or your companies that you work for. There's a lot of information out there if you know where to look. One of my favorite websites is bleepingcomputer.com. I'm just going to throw that out there as a resource. If you think that something is problematic, go search there and see if it pops up as, something that has been a vehicle for malware or if it's just fine.
Okay.
So Mike, is that human nature though? When something pops up and says, I want to load something, that's most people will go out and research it?
No.
I didn't think so.
We're very adverse to doing anything that resembles work. And I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying that because there's going to be a lot of people like, I work all the time. But it's a function of homeostasis. We don't like to do anything that our brain is going to consider a pain. Yeah. So a certain percentage will, but most people will not do that. And that's why we get into these other areas like malware and virus detectors. Okay, so Nathan used to get all over my case because I had a free one on my machine for a long time, and he was always saying, "You don't need that. You don't need that." And then we're always getting inundated with, like I said, media that's saying, "Hey, use this, use this, use this." Right. Now, Nathan's favorite is Windows Defender,
which is pretty good.
And why is that? I know what Nathan would say, but why would you say that?
Well, I'm not going to say it just because it's Microsoft, because that's obviously not a good reason. But Defender itself is actually a fairly strong program. It is what is called a next generation antivirus, where it's not looking for specific signatures, so you don't need to update it as frequently as the old, Norton or previously mentioned McAfee. It's actually looking for behaviors. So what it's going to do is it's going to see this new file that it's never seen before that is trying to encrypt one of your personal files and say, I don't think I'm going to allow that, and stop it. And then notify you, hey, there's a problem.
Okay. All right. So we have this already built into Windows.
Yep.
I don't know what Apple uses because I'm not an Apple user. And then we have this Chrome extension. What about VPNs? That's one I hear a lot about a lot. And I use a VPN that some people think is the best VPN, and Nathan uses a VPN that he thinks is the best VPN. What about VPNs? Tell us what a VPN is and if or why I should have one.
Sure. VPN is a virtual public network, and basically what it does is it disguises your external IP address. That means you can be sitting there playing Sea of Thieves, getting into it, attacking everything as a pirate, and anybody who's looking at your information on the net sees that you are actually in the Bahamas right now. Or
I kind of wish I was.
I mean, who doesn't? But it changes where you are coming from, so it becomes more difficult for bad actors, governments, either ours or others, or just random things like search engines, to figure out where you're coming from.
So is that something that I should have, like a regular Joe Schmo with my internet? Is that something that I should have? I'm at my home.
I recommend it in general. You don't necessarily need it at your home, but definitely if you're going to coffee shops or traveling somewhere and using the Wi-Fi in the airport, 100% you should have a VPN in there, kind of keeping you safe and shaking things up a little.
So you bring up a good point there, Mike, because a lot of people look at VPNs like cryptocurrency. We always thought cryptocurrency couldn't be traced. It's untraceable.
And now we're doing it all the time.
And you can easily trace it. Same thing with VPNs. People think, hey, if I'm running a VPN, nobody's going to know what I'm doing, can never figure it out. And that's not true.
That's not true. Yeah. It definitely can misdirect and is going to protect you from kind of the protect you from being low-hanging fruit. Let's put it that way.
Right.
You're going to be more difficult to get a hold of.
So we're talking about just various levels of protection based on whatever it is we're doing.
Right.
Exactly.
And why she recommended when you go outside your house is because what it really helps against is, if, let's say you go to Starbucks and somebody there is spoofing their Wi-Fi and you join the fake Wi-Fi. Well, being on a VPN is encrypting your data so they can't just grab your passwords and logins right off.
Which is a fairly common thing. Another thing that has popped up recently in cybersecurity is the pass the cookie malware, which basically websites all have cookies that record some of your data so that when you go back to that website, you're still logged in. It knows what is in your cart. It recognizes where you were reading and what kind of things you enjoy reading. And if you get into one of the fake networks that Mark was just talking about, there are pieces of malware that can actually steal those cookies as you're passing them to the website, at which point suddenly they've got your login credentials. They know what you're interested in. In some cases, depending on what you're logging into, they could have all of your bank account information. So it's good to have that kind of added protection, especially when you're outside the house.
All right.
Now, if you're in the house, unless you're a Nathan, you really don't need a VPN.
No.
Because if you're doing torrent, illegally downloading stuff, you're using a VPN,
you should
jumping
never,
through multiple servers with other tools.
Never. Okay, well, what is a good VPN thing for us? What's a good one?
There are quite a few out there that are good. I personally use Surfshark and have had excellent results. I also, on my phone, I've got Google Fi. So I've got the Google VPN set up there, and it has kept me protected as I travel around. Okay. NordVPN is also another decent one, although it's recording some more data than some of the others. And I know you use Viper, which is, of course, Nick Espinosa's favorite.
Yes, Viper. I did it solely on the cool name.
Of course.
All right. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you, Gwen, for coming on and sharing your expertise with us today. Appreciate it.
Problem. It was great to be here.
All right. Well, you have a nice day. Okay. Well, that's going to end our Protect Yourself Today segment. Up next, we're going to have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we will be doing during the break. You're listening to TechTime Radio. See you in a few minutes.
This is Mark.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer.
Called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right. August 21st, 1993. I hear that's a good year.
It's an excellent year for getting married.
For getting married? Okay. In 1993, on August the 21st, the Mars Observer is lost. The Mars Observer spacecraft, also known as the Mars Geoscience Climatology Orbiter, was a robotic space probe that was launched by NASA on September 25th, 1992, to study the Martian surface, atmosphere, climate, and magnetic field. On the 21st of August, 1993, during the interplanetary cruise phase, communication with the spacecraft was lost 3 days prior to the probe's orbital insertion, meaning it was going to start orbiting Mars and doing what it needed to do. Attempts to reestablish communications with the spacecraft were unsuccessful. The reason for the loss of contact was never definitively determined, but the most probable cause was a rupture of a fuel tank. And that is what happened how many years ago, Mark, since you've been married?
30 years.
30 years.
Same with Nathan, too. Shout out to Nathan.
Yeah, shout out to Nathan. All right, well, that was our This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 2 years of video, podcast, and blog information, you can visit us on TechTimeRadio.com to watch our older shows, join the Tech Timers Facebook group, or talk with us live all the time. We are going to take another commercial break. When we return, we'll have Mark's Mumble Whiskey review and our technology fail of the week. We'll see you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
Right, Mike. So besides celebrating Nathan's absence, what else are we celebrating today?
I have no idea. National Spit on the Floor Day?
No. That's disgusting, Mike. It is National Pecan Torte Day, which is celebrated.
Okay, that's a whole lot of different than spit.
That is. It's as delicious as it sounds. It's a holiday on which we enjoy that wonderful dessert and its richness of its history. Did you know that the pecan is the only major tree nut indigenous to the North America?
Yes, I'm from the South, and we call it pecans. And we had pecan trees all throughout where I lived, and we would get fresh pecans every year.
All right. Well, with that duet of words, pecan, how I say it, and pecan, how you say it, we now change over to a duet of ryes that we are drinking today.
All right. Tell us again what this is.
This is that we are celebrating today Nashville Barrel Company Small Batch Rye Whiskey Batch 2, a duet of ryes. That is a mouthful, too.
Yes, it is a mouthful.
So now in 2018, there were 3 guys who saw where the marketing was headed. Not enough bourbon supply, driving demand through the roof and creating impossible allocations and making it difficult to find good whiskey. One of their favorite pastimes was traveling all over the country and picking single barrels with friends. But the memory was vanishing quickly. Now, I almost prefer that over doing a radio show, taking you and Nathan and going around the country tasting barrels of whiskey. That sounds like a better friend thing to do. But
of course, I'd rather do that, yeah.
We're here today. They decided to do this and also select, besides their single barrels, they wanted to do it on a larger scale, so they brought the first batch of bourbon in 2018. The hype began, and everybody's been falling in love with it, so in 2020, they released their first single-barrel rye, and now they work with individual and groups to do their own blends and single barrels.
All right, well, what do you think? What do you think
about
okay,
this? So for this batch 2 blend, they took 2 runs of Indiana rye that they felt would complement each other to make the perfect duet. I feel they definitely succeeded. It has a light vanilla, a touch of oak, some minty rye spice, and a bright fruity roundness. Now, with less than 15,000 bottles for this blend, if you see one at a reasonable cost, it would be prudent to grab it. I look forward to future NBC releases. Hopefully, they won't have outlandish prices like all the whiskey's been going lately.
Okay, well, I'm certainly enjoying this one. So, thank you, Mark, for that mumble as always. I'm going to use Nathan's line here, and whiskey and technology, what a great pairing, just like coffee and donuts.
Oh, I'll do the mic thing.
Yeah. Okay, all right, let's get ready for a technology fail of the week brought to you by Elite Executive Services, technology experts to help you out of a technology fail.
We are out of time. Congratulations, you're a failure.
Oh, I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes. Did I? Yes.
All right, today, this week's technology fail of the week is going to be Elon Musk. He has appeared again for the continued strangeness regarding the platform formerly known as Twitter. X.
Seems like with Nathan gone, we are just picking that low-hanging fruit.
Maybe. I don't know. Today we're going to bring you two stories that appeared in the BBC News this week. The first is that good old Musk has directed that the blocking feature of the social media platform is to be removed. In the Twitter days, this feature allowed users to block content they felt was offensive or disturbing, and it would keep that creator's post from appearing on your news feed, and vice versa. None of your posts would find their way onto the blocked party's feed, and also there could be no direct contact between the two parties, nor could their contact be. I see you want to jump in here. Go ahead.
Why? That doesn't make any sense. Aren't they worried about more people coming for X saying like, "Oh, I'm being harassed"?
Well, Musk reports that the feature makes no sense to him, so has directed that feature be removed. Blocking, which is now going to be called muting, I think that's kind of the impression they got.
Though.
Well,
if it just silences their tweets, what do you?
Well, yeah. hang on. I'm gonna tell you what
People
this is
are in
all
uproar
about
this.
Yeah. So basically, what they're calling this is muting, and it will allow users to keep each other from directly messaging each other, but their post will still go back and forth. Now, of course, as you are, sitting over there, steam coming out of your ears, concerns are that doing this will make it easier for toxicity, harassment, and stalking behaviors to increase and may even violate the terms of use on Apple and Google Play stores. There are, and from a human behavior standpoint, social media is set up to encourage negative behavior. It's not set up to encourage good behavior. It's encouraging negative behavior.
So a big name came out today that spoke out against this change.
Who is that?
And he is even a supporter of Elon Musk.
Who is that?
James Wood.
James Wood, huh?
Yeah, the actor. He came out and said, "Hey, the ability block users. I'm going to leave Twitter." And Elon Musk, I don't know, X back. I don't know what you say nowadays, but he said, "Fine, leave."
Yeah, well,
that doesn't make any sense because there's a lot of profiles that are high personalities per se, they deal with stalkers, they deal with harassment, they deal with bullies. Wouldn't you want to keep it a safe platform?
That's what he came out saying. He had a libel suit.
I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
No, I know, but that's just so dumb.
Right. So Odie, James Wood had a libel suit against him, and who he was suing, that person hired 30 people to harass him on Twitter.
See,
remember, this is technology fail of the week, not
right. And he was able to mute him, and now a lot of people are saying, and not just men, but more specifically, a lot of women have come out and said this is a horrible, horrible change.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Exactly. That this is causing problems all across the board. There are people who are supporting him, including the former founder Jack Dorsey, who posted 100% mute only. This is what he's doing. This is his game, and this is what he's playing. Now, our second story is again about X, and it is about a post which denied the Holocaust and was removed only after being criticized by the Auschwitz Museum. Initially, this post, after the museum called them out on their own policy, which states that Holocaust deniers are not allowed to post. The response was that the post broke no rules. The museum then protested again, and this time the event was escalated, and only then was the post removed. And that's why this is the fail of the week. Way to go, X. I don't know what's going on with Elon. Well, I don't know if he's really trying to run this into the ground or what.
No, I don't think he's trying to run into the ground. He's trying to morph this into his image of how he feels in his world. So this ties back to our early conversation of AI. So AI is pulling from source material, and he is now trying to generate more of this evil source material.
Well, that's possible. As somebody who studies human behavior, there's a lot of stuff that could be going on there that is driving this behavior, and it could be more than economically, which it probably is, motivated.
It's a new philosophy of X.
All right. We're going to go out for our last commercial break. When we return, we will have my mesmerizing moment brought to us by Story Coffee. Sit back, raise a glass. You're listening to TechTime Radio. How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, Collected Writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon, the Bookpository, and more.
This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Mike, I have something for you.
Okay, so, what do you got for me?
We talked about an article last night. It didn't make the top news stories, but it was very interesting. It was about a cargo ship that's been outfitted with a giant rig British-designed sails in hopes that it will lead to a greener future and cut fuel consumption and some other economic and environmental impacts.
Mm-hmm.
You had a very interesting response. So my question is, do you feel we are moving backwards?
Well, the thing with the article was the irony, right? So this British company outrigged this huge ship with sails to take advantage of wind to get their ship across the ocean. So I found that to be interesting because that's the problem with technology. The technology pace outraces us.
That's 100% correct.
And we get into this mode where we're like, oh, we got to do this, the forward march of progress and so on and so forth. The steam engine was what ended the age of sail, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is when people were sailing across the ocean with sails that weren't awesomely talked about in the media as doing anything for the climate or whatever. But are we going backwards? No, we're not going backwards, which is unfortunate because time and time again we have seen where, quote unquote, going backwards is actually better for you. We've talked about keeping your passwords on pen and paper because those can't be hacked unless somebody's physically in the room with you.
Right.
So now we've got this company that is using sales in order to do this. Humans are going to do what humans do, and there's nothing we're going to do to stop this progress. These kind of interesting issues. I think what's most interesting about is the way the media is talking this up like it's a new idea, and that's a whole thing in itself. So, are we going backwards? No. Should we go backwards? In some cases, probably. We could do without social media. I think the negative impact of social media is I'm not sure that it far outweighs the benefits of it. So yeah. All right. That's my I don't know if you were mesmerized by that, but that was my opinion.
I appreciate it, Mike, for that moment. I would love to do a show just talking about the Industrial Revolution. Was that a technology advancement or a backward step for mankind?
I think it depends on how you look at it, whether socially or economically. I mean, socially, you can say that the Industrial Revolution destroyed the family unit.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all we have today. We are out of time. I want to thank our listeners for joining the program. Remember to venture over to techtimeradio.com and click on our deal of the week. Or if you want to ask us something, click on Be a Caller. And our talkback recording system will set us up with something we can talk about on the radio. You can always stay connected by signing up for our newsletter to stay up to date on technology. From all of us here at Tech Time.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh, we didn't even talk. How about that? I was so involved, I forgot about the pick of the day. Wow. Thumbs up.
All right, thumbs up. And two thumbs up for Nashville Barrel Company Small Batch Rye Whiskey Batch 2 at Duet of Rye.
Yeah, there was no music. I got messed up. All right. So that's all we got for today. Great whiskey, great show. Bye-bye.
No technology of tomorrow is the science of today, or science of tomorrow is technology of today, or so whatever Nathan made up thing.
I'm not gonna Nathan Mumm it. Bye.
Bye, Nathan.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.
Hello, my name is Seth Thompson, and I am literally pleased as punch to be steering the Kixie ship every weeknight from 5 to